my lords, honourable member of parliament, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Mustaq Nishani. I am the chairman of Third World Solidarity and other founder member of Third World Solidarity sitting on table 27. Can I ask you somebody to stand up to show we are the two founder members of Third World Solidarity. Can I welcome you all on our 24th annual dinner? And I am very pleased that today we have got many lords, many MPs, but I wanted that I should not invite many MPs and many lords because they are very busy in trying to sort out our finances, make more people unemployed, make more people their businesses disturbed, so they are voting. And some of them have come here who have voted against those cuts. I'm pretty sure you will appreciate their presence among us. I'm very pleased that His Excellency Ambassador of Syria is here. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Dr. Sami Kami, can I ask you to stand up to just show that you are here? I'm not going to pass everybody who has supported me for the past 24 years, but this very difficult work, because Third World Solidarity believes in independence, it believes in peace and justice and tolerance. Tell me where it exists today in the world. So everybody is fighting against me, apart from you all who are sitting in this room and many, many millions of people out there in the world. So I'm very pleased that you are here. I'm thankful to the people who have bought the tables, and I'm very thankful to the people who have not bought the table but have come and raised this occasion. Most of you have bought the table, and I know there are many other people who will be generously donating us on our raffle tickets, and there are very good raffle, what do you call it, prizes. So there will be very good prizes. Can I invite Chairman of our party parliamentary group, my great comrade, who has been working with us like a stone together to achieve things which we never have dreamed of. Can I invite former President of Unison and a former miner in the United Kingdom, now MP for Britain, David Hudson, to come and welcome you all.
Been quiet. Good evening, everybody. You can talk, it's all right. It's a great privilege to be here yet again to welcome such worthy guests. As Mustaq said, my background is based in the trade union movement. It's a great privilege tonight to welcome Tony Benn. Tony probably won't remember this, but 26 years ago this year, at the height of the mine strike, he and I spoke together in the Friends Meeting House in London. Something hang I will never forget, because Tony was a great, great example of us all, and somebody we well deal with today in Parliament. And inspired by people like Tony, simply to carry on fighting for work in this country. And I make no excuse for saying that I believe today we're facing a threat as late as great as we did back in the 1980s, and the working people and the supporters of working in this country have to make that threat head on or be wiped out. I want to welcome two particular guests tonight who have also been presidents of Unison and on the stage, and there was a president 3 years ago, and Angela Lyons, who elected to be president of Unison just in the last 6 weeks. You're very, very welcome here tonight, comrades. And there's a number of people here from around the world. I'm going to see how long a number of people from the northeast of England. My friends Diaz and Heather Shaw, who have been great supporters of me in making sure I was re-elected with a double majority in delivering this year's election, and 4 young comrades from the Asian Business Connections. A group set up in Newcastle about a year ago. And we're going to hear a speech in a while from us, a new MP, a new colleague of mine. But if you want to talk inclusively, go and meet these young guys, because they are the epitome of working together in a community that hasn't really got a history of a lot of immigration, which is really, really working closely together with all the working people. I'm not going to say very much more, colleagues, but just to say the Third World Solidarity will be doing lots more work over the next period. One of the things we really want to focus on is making the United Nations more relevant to real people in this world. Because the truth is, the United Nations has failed the people of this world at a macro and a micro level. And we want to play our part in making that organisation become better. We look for people like yourselves to help us do that. So without any further ado, I'll ask Mushta to come back and make some more formal welcomes. Enjoy your evening. Thanks very much.
It is a privilege to work with you today. Thank you very much for your support. Today I have chosen a very difficult subject. The subject is how to achieve an inclusive United Kingdom, and through that how to achieve inclusive work. And there, Anas and myself, with many of friends, were with Bill Gates this evening. And Bill Gates was speaking about how to eliminate poverty from the world. As you all know, he has donated half of his wealth. And I don't know if anybody in this room is as rich as that half of the wealth is. I think we will be very proud. And he said, half of my wealth is enough for my children, other half goes to the poor of the world. So we are very privileged and proud that today we have attended this meeting. And everybody that was involved in organizing that meeting. So can I now invite my guest of the evening, who is going to speak about how to achieve inclusive United Kingdom, and through that how to achieve inclusive world. I think we are all struggling to have a better world. Mark Seddon is sitting here somewhere, and he's going to fly tonight to Maldives, I think, or maybe tomorrow morning, because there is a difficulty in Maldives, and the President has especially asked him to come and support him. We will be supporting all over the world, elected people of the world. Some people at the back are sitting from Russian speaking people here. I know, Safari, thank you very much. And there are some people sitting from Ethiopia who are struggling for a better Ethiopia. So I think we are, World Solidarity is a small organization. With your support, we are doing big work and big things. So I'm very thankful to you all for your support. So without any ado, can I invite, I think, one of the youngest member of parliament elected from Scotland, and he tells us he's a British, he's Scottish, so don't call him Asian. So can I invite another server MP of Glasgow Central to come in and give us the lecture of this evening.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm struggling for places to put my notes as that many speakers on the lecture, but I'll do my best. Your Excellencies, my lords and ladies, fellow members of Parliament, distinguished guests, good evening. It is a tremendous honour and a great privilege to be asked to speak at World Solidarity's 24th Annual Gala Dinner. An honour because I'm passionate about the principles which Third World Solidarity stands for, and a privilege because there are so many well-respected and experienced individuals who can speak on this topic here tonight. For those of you that were in the Houses of Commons earlier on and listened to the fantastic words of Bill Gates, I can first of all start with an apology. I'm nowhere near as talented or able as Bill is, but I'm still in the learning stages. But one thing I want to share with you is, I'm a member of the International Development Select Committee. We had a private meeting with Bill just before he addressed the Grand Curriculum at 5 o'clock. And what I took away most potently from that meeting was his demeanour. This is a man who has changed the world twice. He's changed the world through his actions with Microsoft, and he's changing the world now with his Bill Gates Foundation. But he still saw a humble man who wasn't arrogant or full of pride for what he's achieved, but someone who's genuinely dedicated and hungry to make a difference to this great world. And I think he's a great role model for young people right around the world, and he's a great role model for me. And speaking of role models, I'm delighted to see that the Right Honourable Tony Benn is also with us today. He's been a tremendous champion for inclusivity, not only in the UK but right around the world, and his company is an honour for us today. When I heard Tony Benn famously say that we are here as public servants, not to manage capitalism, but to change society and define its final values, that's when I began to truly realise that politicians and politics can make a difference. And we also have another dear friend here today, someone who's also been an inspiration for me. I believe he was your guest speaker last year, so he's a very, very hard act to follow indeed. And that is my dear friend. I call him Uncle, but I'm sure he's brother to you all, and that is Lord Ahmed of Rotherham. It's probably you see him here also. Ladies and gentlemen, Thurlow Solidarity was founded by Michael Shaddy and Thomas Atherley with the help of a small group of dedicated political activists and intellectuals in London over 20 years ago. Right from its inception, they've been working together to promote peace, justice and human rights in the Third World by encouraging open dialogue and healthy debate. Third World Solidarity events, meetings, lectures and conferences have taken place all over the world, from the United Kingdom to countries as far away as Syria. Its speakers at previous events have ranged from the Nobel Peace Prize laureate Joseph Stiglitz through to royal figures such as His Highness Prince Hassan bin Talal of Jordan. Your tireless chairman, Councillor Mushtaq al-Shari, or former Councillor Mushtaq al-Shari, was born in a small village of a third world country, Pakistan, but later settled in our capital and the great symbol of the developed world, London. It was here that he came to observe and experience the economic injustices and differences between developed and undeveloped countries, which spurred him on into his efforts to try and reduce the inequalities that exist between people. His colleague Sandra Satterley has been working equally hard in striving to make the world a more peaceful and just one for all, having lived in several third world countries herself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mushtaq and Sandra are two very remarkable individuals indeed, so please join with me in showing your appreciation for all their efforts over the years. The Third World Solidarity Committee have asked me to speak on how to achieve a more inclusive United Kingdom. Now this is a huge topic and I could probably speak for days and days because it includes race, religion, age, gender, disability, health, sexuality, education, but also because we live in the 21st century, then it also includes digital inclusivity. And speaking to friends and colleagues, I was surprised by the response of some who said that we already have an inclusive United Kingdom. I was surprised at the reaction was yes, the UK has done a tremendous amount to improve inclusivity, and yes, we are one of the most tolerant and inclusive society. But does that mean we can retract from and ignore the fact that there is still a long way to go and much left to do? We will always need to continue to strive for greater inclusivity if we believe that every individual should have a right to succeed in life and fulfill their true potential, no matter the background, free from any form of prejudice or discrimination. The principles of fairness and equality demand nothing less in an ever-changing and more complex world. The topic for discussion today is even more pertinent because of the current economic difficulties that we are facing. I am clear that the progress that we have made in recent years must be built upon and not diminished. The challenge which this coalition government faces is whether we will balance making the inevitably tough economic choices and decisions that lie ahead while staying true to the fundamental principles of fairness and equality that have become so central to our society. What we cannot allow to happen is for these principles that we hold so dear to become compromised in the coming years. They will have to ensure that their decisions do not unfairly affect those that are most vulnerable in our society. Because the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, that a higher proportion of women and ethnic minority communities work in our public services. So we must not allow the cuts that are going to come in our public service to further entrench the inequalities that still exist. The government must at every stage ensure that the principles of fairness and creating opportunity remain a central plank of everything they do. Now, unfortunately, it's often during such economic times that we run the risk of becoming inward-looking, less inclusive, and less willing to uphold basic human rights. And it's precisely during these times that extremists such as the BNP seek to employ the politics of division to weaken our values and fragment our society. And it is in this regard that the chairman of the Equality and Human Rights Commission was absolutely correct to say that the coalition government should not hastily remove or seek to dilute the provisions of the Human Rights Act, pointing out that nothing could be more fully represent the triumph of extremists than this country being panicked into weakening its legal protection for human rights. This shows not only how important but also how current the issue of inclusivity is today. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we speak on inequalities and inclusivity, we all have a habit of focusing on our failures and not celebrating our successes. My grandparents were born in what is now a rural part of Pakistan, and they moved here in the hope of providing a better life for their families back home. Now, 2 generations later, I am proud to say that I was born, brought up and educated in the city of Glasgow. I am a true Glaswegian, and I am 100% British and Scottish. And I'm not alone in feeling that way. There are hundreds of thousands of young individuals right across the UK who feel just like me. Because what makes this country so great is despite our many successes that we do have, we do not rest while inequality still remains. And that's why we must continue to ask ourselves these difficult questions. Why is it that women are still on average paid 60% less than men in the workplace? Why is it that black males are less likely to get into higher education than white males? Why is it that 2/3 of ethnic minority populations live below the poverty line? And why is it that life expectancy in some parts of Scotland is significantly less than parts of the south of England? And these are just a few examples. But we must address these inequalities if we want everyone within our society to be able to match their aspirations with achievement. And also politicians and political class have their role to play too. If we truly believe in creating an inclusive society, then that must be demonstrated in our democracy and in our institutions. We must do more to increase the representation of minority communities so that our Houses of Parliament can be a mirror image of our diverse, multicultural and multi-faith society. But representation alone is never enough and can't be enough. If we cherish, as Nelson Mandela did, the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities, then we must do more to create a more inclusive society. A society in which everyone has the same chance to succeed in life, where the contours of poverty and wealth do not coincide with a person's race or ethnicity. And that is why the political class, all parties, must work together to make that vision and hope a reality. Inclusivity in the UK isn't just about your gender, race, religion or your colour. We must also consider their social background and the different regions of which Britain is made up. And what the far right feed off is a perception that society is obsessed with fighting for ethnic minorities and political correctness while the white majority is left behind. Now all of us in this room know that is simply untrue and is just an attempt to breed contempt and create division. But we will only truly see an inclusive UK if every citizen of this country feels the benefit of a more just and equal society. I passionately believe that the best way of poverty and breaking the cycle of deprivation is through our education system. And that is why in the 21st century, in the era of globalisation, no matter which part of the UK you live in, whether it is a suburban area of a big city or a small, rural, remote village, you should have access to broadband and new media. Because if the UK is to retain its economic strength as a leading global economy, then we will need to have the skills and a knowledge-based economy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have much to celebrate, but at the same time, many challenges to face. But I genuinely believe that this country is a tremendous symbol of what can be achieved when all sections of our communities come together and work together. I believe the third world too can learn important lessons from us, so that we can not only achieve an inclusive UK, but a more inclusive, fair and just world. The only way to achieve this goal is if we are clear about our principles, we stay true to our values, and recognise that not only will challenges come our way, but the only way we can overcome those inevitable challenges is if we continue to work together. That way, we will truly create a united kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now you have heard the rising star. He has got copies for the media of his speech if anybody is interested, but don't stand up. Because if you stand up now and try to get it from him, everybody will get disturbed. Because the next thing, which is a surprise to most of you because it is not on our program or card, it will be unique. And I hope you will have a very great pleasure of that small surprise. Can I invite Ali Ismail Abbas on the stage? Ali Ismail Abbas is a Iraqi young man. I think I have heard and seen him on the TV, but he is come from that side. Anyway, you can come. Then I invite Dr. Ali Majid, who is a blind man from Pakistan, is a doctor, and he is a senior judge in the United Kingdom. Dr. Ali Majid. Then I ask Chaudhry Muhammad Chair to bring us the third guest, Sidbatullah Qadri QC, on the stage. These were the three people who got an award from Third World Solidarity for past 23 years. And we have decided, Third World Solidarity have decided, that if you go now into the back room, I will switch off the system. And then I can speak without it, and everybody will listen. I think I can shout or speak, and people listen, so please don't go away. Can I request now the honorable and friend who has got that fourth award, please note it, in 24 years, we have given only 4 awards, and 1 award will be given next year on our Silver Jubilee or 25th anniversary, and we are hoping that that award will be given by even a not important person, these 4 people, but maybe who has worked even harder for his life. Can I invite Right Honorable Tony Benn to come and receive the award? And can I also invite His Excellency Ambassador of Syria to come on the stage, Dr. Sami Khiani. And after, where is the award? I'm standing without award. Where is the award? Please bring the award. Abba is my wife, so you must know he keeps me on toes, whatever I have to, and she's keeping the award. People want to hear from Dr. Abba. Actually, you come on the left, please. On the left. You are a Marxist. You should stand on the left of everybody. Over here. Our side. Yeah, far in. That's up. Yeah. Let me read the award. The award reads 2010 Award for Peace and Justice, Right Honorable Tony Benn from Third World Solidarity. So can I ask everybody to hand over to Tony Benn? Tony Benn will come forward. Yeah. His Excellency. Dr. Majid Sahab, आप इधर आइए. आप you want to say a few words? बाकी सब खड़े हैं. You are in front of the mic, so you say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Just this mic, there are many mics, so you speak on.
Yes. I am pleased to say a few words. I am blind, but last night I had a dream. And in the dream, who was there? Jesus Christ. He said to me, "You are giving an award to Tony Benn. He was made Viscount by pedigree, and he refused to be called Viscount Anthony Neil Wedgwood Benn. And he said, call me just Mr. Benn. Do you really think it is wise to give him an award? Just tell him you don't accept awards from goons, but take it from Jesus Christ for nobility of your life. And I am delighted to present this award to this great man. Thank you very much.
Can I request Tony Benn to come and say a few words on reception of this award?
Friends, it is a great honor to have received an award but I feel the award belongs to Third World Solidarity, which has had a great influence on my life, and I want to pay tribute to the people, Mushtaq and others, who've organised it and kept it going over such a long period. I have 10 grandchildren, and when I look at the younger generation, I always am reminded of the fact that they are the first generation in human history that have the capacity, the technical capacity, with chemical, nuclear and biological weapons to destroy the human race. They're also the first generation in human history that have the technology and the know-how and the money to solve the problems of the human race. And that generation has to make that choice. And it's the first generation in human history that's ever had to make that choice. And I think what Third World Solidarity has done is to remind us of our obligations. And I believe that it will produce the result we need, because it is in the interest of everybody that we should have peace and freedom and independence and democracy. And that's the basis on which our work must proceed. But also it must deal with the distribution of resources, which are very unfairly distributed. 50% of the population of the world lives on an absolute minimum income, and then the wealth of the wealthy countries is something we all know about. So the work of Third World Solidarity as a political movement is of great importance. Thank you very much indeed for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Tony Ben. And you can see I've arranged something for all of you, that these 5 great people will sit here and you can take photographs. But a little bit later on, because my next speaker, and that will be the last speaker of this evening, or he is the only speaker of tonight after Dr. Sarwar, my lord and ladies, he is a lord and great friend of Third Solidarity, Vice Chairman of our all-party parliamentary group. Can I ask Lord Ahmed to come and say thank you to everybody once again.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mr. Mayor, my lords, members of parliament, your excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the most unpopular speaker is the one who comes in between the last speech and the food. And I'll make sure that I will not prolong this agony because I know the food is coming. Although this has been a very short, actually, comparatively, a very short event, it's my indeed great pleasure to move a vote of thanks. And let me first of all say thank you to Councillor Lashari and all his team, Sondra, many others who have worked so hard. I don't know where Mushtaq gets his energy, because he's always running around in Parliament, he's always running around in functions. When I go to Oxford, he's there. When I go to Cambridge, he's there. When I go to East London, he's there. And I don't know whenever he actually sees his wife and his children. But I think credit is due to him for all the great work that he does for Third World Solidarity. And that's why this organization has been providing a great platform for many, many people who are oppressed around the world, and many important issues like Palestine, like Kashmir, like Ethiopia, like Africa and other countries which need attention. So a big thank you to Mushtaq Lashari. And then I have 2 heroes of mine. One, when I was a young man and I used to go to the Labour Party's annual conferences, and in the socialist rallies, when I used to see Tony Benn's name, I used to go there, listen to his speeches, and I used to say, when I grow up, I want to be like him. I haven't managed, Tony. I'm a new Labour peer. You remain old Labour, and you are a great man, and I thank you for all your principles and everything that you have done. And I've become a fan of Anna Sarvas, because you all heard him speak. a few weeks ago when the Speaker of the House of Commons organised the reception, for the first time I heard Anna speak there. And I can honestly tell you that when I heard him speak, I said to myself that this man will be in the next Labour government's cabinet, and inshallah, if we get a chance, because he really has the qualities, and he speaks in what he believes. And can I say this? At a time when the Labour Party and the Conservative Party and the Liberal Democrats have supported the extension of 28-day detention, last week Anna Sarwar voted against the 28-day detention and gave this tribute, really, to stand up on principle, because everybody accepts that 28 days hasn't been used, and 14 days was just a temporary measure, and they should not be there. And since 2007, the government and the police and the intelligence services haven't used this power, and therefore I salute him for his principled stand and actually voting against this measure. So again, it's been my pleasure to say thank you to everyone, and I'm delighted to say that I was elected Vice Chairman again of the All Party Parliamentary Group. Mushtaq Lashari organizes many events. And can I also say thank you to all the people, those who financially support, those who logistically, those who support Third World Solidarity in any way, either booking the rooms or making this dinner happen every year. Thank you so much, and invite in.
Knowing that a lot of people would like to take photographs with these great people sitting there, and I know there are a lot of great people sitting there. Lord Helton, I'm very thankful to you for your support. Lord Helton is sitting there. Can I invite you people on stage while food is being served? I know food will be coming to you in a minute. They asked me to give us 10 minutes, and I have asked already 10 minutes ago, so food will be coming to you. I think I want to mention another gentleman sitting on the table, whatever, number 8, George Rocky, who is the Director of World Emergency Relief, who is giving a lot of aid to local countries. Can I ask George to stand up, please? I want to thank him as well. And there will be photographs. You can stand behind and take photographs. Can I ask Naseem Ahmed to come with me on the stage? He's the man who always buys the first table. And I have mentioned that he never asked me, when is your death? He says, come be in our future. This time he's even collected some more money. Go there. Naseem, so come on the stage, please. Now, he's the president of UK PCCI. Can I ask you to come on the stage? Naseem Saab, please. I want to take photograph with the great people with you. Kamal Sayyid Saab, please come on the stage. Imtiaz Ali Shah should be sitting somewhere. Can I ask you? I will stand with you. And the High Commissioner of Pakistan, I know High Commissioner is coming in a minute, and do you believe it? His Excellency, the High Commissioner of Pakistan has bought a table from us this year. It is a great pleasure to have that. Your Excellency, Deputy High Commissioner, please come in. And there are many. Can I invite Ahmad Mirza from Newcastle, who has travelled all the way from Newcastle. I want you to be here as well. Lord Helton, do you mind if you come here to take some photograph with the people? I'm thankful to Chaudhry Nasser Ali Saab, UK Jeweler Association. Come here, Nasser Saab. When your colleagues, also come here. These are the people who don't ask me questions. Whenever I go to them, they support me. So I think it is a great privilege. And there is a Farooq Mir Saab who is traveled all the way from Pakistan. Ghaznafar Gol Saab and Awa Papaya Saab. Can I request you to come here, please? Ghaznafar Gol is a very senior member of People's Party Central Committee, and they are here. Can I invite you? Thank you very much. Khaja Yunus Saab is sitting somewhere, who is a supporter and also has a business in Kensington, Chelsea. Ikram Khan Saab. I'm not going to name many more people, I think. Beautiful people sitting in this room. And the last thing is, Matthew Buxton is there, who is our official photographer. Anybody who wants to take photographs, make a big contact Matthew Buxton, who is down here. I hope you enjoy the meal. We are seeing some from Reading. Please come up. Once photograph is taken, you can go on the seats. Other people can come. I think I'm very thankful to Hesa and Oliver from Labour Party office as well. I think David met and all the Norma Steele and Angela, who are great friends. Thank you. Colonel Class Saab is sitting here. Sheikh Saab come here. Don't go stand up here.
I mean, I can't be in two places at once. No. But are you filming all evening? I'm not filming now. I'm going to take a photograph. So it won't be.